Welcome back to Homicide Highway. I'm your host, Kirsty McQueen, and today we're pulling off at one of the darkest exits of this highway of true crime. This episode takes us into the mind of one of America's most infamous serial killers, Jeffrey Dahmer, known as the Milwaukee Cannibal or the Milwaukee Monster. Dahmer's crimes were some of the most horrifying in modern history. But here on Homicide Highway, we don't just retell crimes, we break down the psychology, the patterns, and the why behind the monsters. So buckle in, because today's ride is not for the faint of heart. This is your trigger warning. We'll be discussing murder, sexual assault, necrophilia, and cannibalism. Listener discretion is strongly advised. Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer was born in 1960 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. By most accounts, his childhood seemed ordinary at first, but cracks appeared early. His parents' marriage was turbulent, and Dahmer was described as withdrawn, shy, and fascinated by dead animals. Psychologists often point to this fascination with death in childhood as an early red flag, what we call the macabre curiosity. Dahmer would collect animal bones, dissect roadkill, and later admitted he felt a strong sense of control when handling remains. This need for control became a central theme in his crimes. By his early teenage years, Dahmer struggled with alcohol abuse and a growing awareness of his homosexuality, something he didn't openly share in the conservative environment that he grew up in. The isolation, the drinking, and the secret desires all combined into a dangerous cocktail. In 1978, just weeks after high school graduation, Dahmer committed his first murder. He picked up 18-year-old hitchhiker Stephen Hicks, lured him back to his home, and when Hicks tried to leave, Dahmer killed him with a dumbbell. He later said he couldn't bear the thought of Hicks leaving him. This tells us a lot. For Dahmer, murder wasn't about rage or revenge. It was about control, possession, and the fear of abandonment. Now, he dismembered the body and buried the remains. This murder set the tone for what would later become his pattern: lure, kill, dismember, and attempt to keep parts of his victims as a way of holding onto them forever. After a 9-year gap, Dahmer began killing again in 1987. From then until 1991, the murders escalated. His victims were mostly young men, many from marginalized communities. Now here's where the psychology gets dark. Dahmer didn't just want companionship, he wanted complete, unresisting possession. He drugged his victims, sometimes performed lobotomies, and experimented with creating zombie-like states so his partners would never leave him. Psychologists call this form of paraphiliac disorder, where sexual arousal is tied to control, death, or objects. For Dahmer, love, lust, and murder become inseparable. His killings were compulsive, ritualistic, and deeply tied to his fantasy life. Now, he later confessed that he kept skulls, bones, and body parts, sometimes even consuming them. For him, cannibalism wasn't just horror, it was his way of feeling his victims would become a permanent part of him. In July of 1991, Dahmer was finally caught when one of his intended victims, Tracy Edwards, managed to escape and flagged down police. What officers found in Dahmer's apartment was a nightmare: body parts in the fridge, the freezer, and photographs documenting his crimes. During his trial, Dahmer pled guilty but insane. The court rejected his insanity plea, arguing that despite the depravity of his crimes, he understood what he was doing was wrong. He was sentenced to life imprisonment. Now, in 1994, just 3 years into his sentence, Dahmer was killed by a fellow inmate.
Now, Mr. Edwards, you and I met for the first time last evening.
Yes.
And you came up from Louisiana at my request with your attorney.
Right.
Mr. Saeed, S-Y-E-D, Salet, S-A-L-E-T.
That's correct.
And you came up here to testify to the events, as you recall them, that occurred on the late afternoon, early evening, early morning hours of July the 22nd and the morning of July the 23rd, 1991.
That's correct.
So that you know, Mr. Edwards, your name is known to the jury because there has been testimony concerning what happened to you and at the apartment of Mr. Dahmer. Do you understand?
Cool. Yeah.
Was it going to be the three of you and Mr. Dahmer were going to stay together, or was it agreed upon that one or others of you were going to go with Mr. Dahmer, or was there no agreement?
They were going to meet up with us eventually later on that evening. Yeah.
Meet up with who?
Jeffrey at his apartment, but he gave them the wrong address at that time.
Okay, so did you, the three of you and your two friends and Mr. Dahmer, walk down to a liquor store, and what happened when you got to the liquor store?
I saw my brother. We started talking. At this time, Jeff was talking to my other friends.
All right, now you get to the apartment. Do you go in the back way?
Yes, correct.
You went up to the apartment. Tell us what happens when you get up to the apartment. Tell us what you observed, what your senses told you.
Okay, first of all, it seemed like a normal apartment. When we got inside, he turned off burglar alarms. I asked him why. First, it was a foul odor, okay?
Tell us about that. What kind of an odor?
It was just like an odor. I didn't quite know what it was. You know, he told me a sewer pipe had broke and management would take care of it. You know.
And did you accept that?
Yes, because I worked around at construction companies before, and when pipes bust, sewer pipes bust, they smell, you know.
Okay.
So I brought that.
So you say your first thing you did was notice the odor. He opened the door to the apartment?
Yes.
And you walked in?
Yes.
He turned off something. What did he turn off?
Alarms.
Did you ask him about that?
Yeah, and he said the part of the neighborhood he was in, he was protecting his property, things like that, cameras, VCRs, TVs, things of that nature.
Did you accept that?
Yes, I did.
After getting in the apartment, can you generally describe the apartment, both the apartment that you saw then and the apartment that the other parts of the apartment you saw? Tell the jury what the apartment was like.
It was like normal, pretty decent apartment, had nice things in it. You know, it had certain boxes sitting on the front, neurotic acid boxes. I asked him about it. He said he cleaned bricks with those, you know, which you can use that type of acid to clean bricks, so I brought that also.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you just said. You asked him about some boxes?
Yeah, that were laying in the front living room floor.
And what did he tell you about those?
That he cleaned brick with the neurotic acid.
Okay. Now, was the apartment small, large, medium? Give us the size.
Kind of medium size, yeah.
All right. Now, when you went in there, you went in, as you entered, were you in the living room?
Yes.
And what was the living room? What did you see in there? The boxes you told us about?
The boxes, is a couch. There's a fish tank there also. A black lamp. Yeah, there was a little table-like on the left side.
Could you see a refrigerator?
Yeah, I could see the refrigerator on my left.
Was it close to the living room?
Yeah, maybe 8 feet from the living room.
And so it was just off the living room?
Right.
Now, did you stay in that room, or did you go to another room right away?
We stayed in that room for a while.
And where did you sit, if you did?
Okay, at the end of the sofa like I am now. This is a sofa. I was at this end, and he was at this side.
Referring to the jury, I mean, the witness box, if that were a sofa, he would be at that end. That is the end where he's seated on the witness stand, which would be the part closest to the judge. Is that right?
That's correct.
And where did Mr. Dahmer, what did he do?
He sat like here, maybe a couple of feet from me.
Not close to you?
Maybe 2 feet.
You in fear of anything at that time?
Not at all.
Okay, and what did the two of you do?
Okay, he said we were still talking, chatting, you know. He asked me, was I interested in doing the photography? You know, I told him I was still contemplating, so therefore he offered me a beer and a rum and coke mixture at that point.
Now, you're fully clothed.
Yes.
Okay, and you're sitting on a couch.
Right.
And he talks to you about this posing, and you weren't sure you're going to do it.
Right.
How much had you been offered to do the posing?
$100.
Okay. And when he brings you the beer, he brings you rum and coke?
Yeah, he brings the beer first, and then he brings the rum and Coke.
How big of a glass?
Maybe that big. Yeah.
About 4 inches high?
About 4 inches, yeah, 3.5, something like that.
Did you ever taste it?
Yeah, I took a few sips.
Was it strong, weak, medium, or just about right?
I'm not a big liquor drinker, so it didn't taste that good to me. I don't.
Didn't taste good to you? You don't know if it was strong or not?
Strong or not, no, because I'm...
What did Mr. Dahmer do? Did he likewise have a drink?
No, I think, yeah, right, a beer, but I don't think he drank all of his drink at that time.
Did he have any rum with him?
I just noticed the beer, right.
Okay. What time are we talking about now that you're sitting on the couch and you get the beer? You got over there about what time, and how long after this?
It was about before 7, quarter to 7, something like that.
So you're sitting on the couch, he brings you a beer and rum and Coke, what happens?
Okay, then we just study talking and everything, you know.
General talk?
General talk. Yeah.
What happens?
Yeah, then I was just, I don't know, getting a little agitated maybe, you know, because of the smell and things. And then he threw my conversation off talking about the fish in the fish tank, you know.
Okay, when you start talking about the fish in the fish tank, do you bring that up or does he?
He does.
And what do you do when he does that?
I turn to the right, like the fish tank is here, I'm turning all the way over here.
You turn to your right to look at it?
To look at the fish tank, right.
And when that happens, what happens to you?
All of a sudden a handcuff and a knife is pulled on me. Yeah.
Handcuff is placed on your body? Where?
On my left wrist.
And you see a knife?
Yeah, the knife, yeah.
Now, at that moment, what do you do?
First I feel fear, then I ask him what's going on, you know. This is not necessary, you know, to pull a knife on me at that point.
Are you afraid?
Yes.
Do you have any reason to know why he did that?
None whatsoever.
Did you have any idea at that time it was going to happen?
No.
Tell me about his demeanor at that time when you looked and realized he had a knife and you in a cuff. What was, you were only cuffed on one wrist?
One wrist, yeah.
What was happening to the other part of the handcuff?
Okay, he had it in his hand.
He was holding it?
Holding that in the wrist, yeah.
Where was the knife? In the other hand?
The knife was like he had here. The knife was in his hand. He had it on me like this.
Let the record reflect he was holding the knife in his right hand as he showed it, holding the cuff in his left hand. Is that right? Right. And your left hand is cuffed?
Yeah, right.
Where do you have the knife? What kind of a knife was it?
It was like a military knife, a machete of some type. Yeah, he had it lowered right up under my rib cage, you know. Like
so
in
he
the
had
back, somewhere in the back here.
He had it pointed at your rib cage?
Yeah.
Did you feel it, touch it?
Yeah, he had it on me. He had it against my body.
What happened? What was going through your mind the moment that happened when you realized you had a knife at your side and a handcuff on your hand? What did you think?
I think, like, you know, what's going on, you know? This guy is so nice, and all of a sudden, you know, it's like he's pulling knives and handcuffs and all on me, you know?
What'd you do? What'd you say to him?
I asked him what the problem was, you know, that it's not necessary to do this, you know?
What'd he say?
He told me at that point if I wouldn't do what he said, he would kill me, yeah.
What'd you do? What happened? Tell us what happened step by step as best you can remember.
And then all of a sudden he kind of calms down, you know, and then he said he has a key in the bedroom, so we proceed to the bedroom.
The key to the handcuffs?
Right.
So you believed he was going to take them off?
Yeah. At that point, I had to go along with this guy, you know, and then if I had to find out, so I walked back there with him. He kind of guides me back there, you know.
Guides you back with the cuff and the knife?
Yeah, right.
And you go into the bedroom?
Right.
What do you see in the bedroom?
A big, about 50, 60-gallon drum barrel, whatever.
Do you ever see a 50, 60 drum barrel in anybody's bedroom before?
Not at all.
Do you have any idea? Did you ask him what it was?
No. At that point, I asked no questions at that time. You know.
Was there a bed in that room?
Yes.
How was the bed? Was it made, unmade? What did?
It was unmade.
What did you see on the bed, if anything?
Something like a stain of whatever, yeah, on the bed.
What did you think it was?
At that point in time, I wasn't sure. Yep. I was basically talking with this person, trying to let him know I was his friend. Yeah.
As you were sitting there on the bed, when he had you by the handcuff and a knife at your side, at that time, which would have been maybe 7 o'clock?
Something like that.
What impression was made upon your mind by the conduct, action, manner, expression, and conversation that you observed of Mr. Dahmer?
His frame of mind is what you want to know, right? Okay, he acted. At times, he would go through like different changes with me, you know.
Tell us about that.
1 minute he's like nice, then he was telling he didn't want people to leave him or abandon him, things of this nature, you know. Yeah.
Well, what did you think about him as a person? What impression was made on your mind of this fellow that you're dealing with here?
Yeah, that at times he wasn't himself, and then at times he was like a nice guy, you know. He would come and go different times, you know, throughout the whole time. Then he would like sit, being quiet at times, watching a movie, wanting me to watch the movie, you know, and just doing little chanting sounds, you know.
Did you observe him watching the movie and how he would react to the movie?
Right, he would like just start rocking back and forth when he, you know, certain parts of the movie or whatever.
You have to say, what did he say, Madam?
It was like chanting at certain times and rocking back and forth, right?
Tell us about his chanting. What was that all about?
I'm not even sure, sir, but it was just like, I can't tell you the words. I couldn't understand what he was saying at that time.
Can you mimic him? How it sounded?
It was like a slow slur, like some of that nature, some close like that, I'm not sure.
Did it keep on for a period of time?
Off and on throughout the ordeal.
And how about the movement back and forth? How was that being effectuated?
Just like back and forth, he would do it every now and then. You know?
Just as you are rocking in your chair?
Like this.
And chanting?
And chanting.
Now, there came a time when you went to the washroom again?
Right, I suggested, yeah, because he had started getting aggressive a little bit again. I suggested go to the bathroom. He let me stay in there by myself while he stayed outside the door at that time.
And what happened then?
And then I told him, well, I was contemplating, I was asking God, shall I make my move now? And I was going to just jump out the window. But when I got out, for some reason, I asked, could I have another beer? Yeah.
And what did he do?
And he reaches over, he guides me over and reaches in and get a beer.
He still got you on the cuff?
Yeah, and then he tells me, I told him I want to sit in the front because it's an air conditioner. I was just going to try to jump out the window or go for the door or whatever, and because the back bedroom didn't have an air conditioner, only in the front. So I suggested we sit on the couch. I had unbuttoned my shirt to try to make him feel more at ease. And then I just sat on the couch and he just started going out of himself again. Yeah.
Going out of himself?
Yeah, he was like paying me no attention at that time.
Like he wasn't there?
He started the chanting again, and it's like just sitting there, you know. And then I just, for some reason, I said, well, I need to go to the bathroom again, and he didn't follow me at that point. So I reached up, I got up, and then I hit him, and I ran out.
So you hit him?
Right.
Did you have any other belongings there?
Yeah, I have my bag right there at the end of the couch. I sit in exactly the same place I sit when I went in there.
So when you got up, he let go of your cuff to let you go to the bathroom again?
He just let me stay there. I was going to go for the window. At that point, he didn't even have the cuff. It's like I wasn't even there anymore.
Yeah. And when you saw that, what'd you do?
Mm-hmm. I just seized the opportunity. I said, well, at least I'm going to die trying. I'm not just going to sit here, you know.
What'd you do, son?
I hit him, and I ran towards the door, and he was right there, tried to grab me, get me back in there.
And what happened?
Then I made it outside.
So he wasn't able to bring you back in?
Bring me back in there, no.
He tried?
He tried.
And as you left that apartment, as you got away from him, I'm going to ask you again, what impressions were made on your mind by the conduct of Jeffrey Dahmer, by the actions of Jeffrey Dahmer, by the manner, expressions, and conversations of Jeffrey Dahmer that you observed? Can you give us some words?
It's like I told the policeman that this freak, this crazy guy, was trying to hurt me. Yeah.
Did you run out of the building?
Yes, I did.
Did you summon help?
Yes.
Milwaukee Police Department?
That's correct.
Did they come back there with you to the apartment?
Right.
Did you eventually go back into the apartment with the Milwaukee police officers?
Yes.
And then he was arrested?
Right.
You gave a statement to the Milwaukee police a few hours later?
Yeah, I guess you could say a few hours, yeah.
So, what do we learn from Dahmer? Number 1, he craved control above all else. Number 2, his killings were about possession and preventing abandonment, not rage or thrill. 3, His psychology combined paraphiliac disorders, deep loneliness, and compulsive fantasies. And number 4, and society failed to see early warning signs: his drinking, his fixation on death, and his inability to form healthy connections. Dahmer himself admitted in interviews that he never wanted to hurt people, but he couldn't stop. That compulsive drive, mixed with secrecy and fantasy, made him one of the most dangerous kinds of predators. Jeffrey Dahmer's story is more than just a headline. It's a chilling example of how psychological wounds, untreated compulsions, and unchecked fantasies can evolve into unthinkable violence. And while his crimes are horrifying, the lessons we take away are crucial. Mental health matters, early intervention matters, and society cannot afford to ignore red flags. So, thank you for joining me on this journey down Homicide Highway. If you found this episode insightful, please subscribe, share, and leave a review. It helps me bring more cases and psychological deep dives to you. Next week, we'll take another dark turn into the mind of a different killer. Until then, stay safe, stay aware, and remember, the darkest monsters often hide in plain sight.
Of all time. Today, an Inside Edition World exclusive, Jeffrey Dahmer talks about his obsession to kill and why he got away with it for so long.
The world watched in horror as the savagery of serial murderer Jeffrey Dahmer unfolded.
It was almost addictive. It was almost a surge of energy.
The nation was stunned by the magnitude of the crime.
No one had a clue as to what was happening for over a decade.
How could this shy child grow into a modern-day monster?
I started having these obsessive thoughts when I was about 15 and 16, and they got worse and worse.
Today, another Inside Edition World exclusive. Nancy Glass talks to serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer.
If you were out on the street now, would you still be committing the crimes?
Probably. If this hadn't happened, there's no doubt I probably would. It was almost addictive, a surge of energy. I wouldn't have to worry about any of their needs or anything. I just had complete control of the situation. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. When you depersonalize another person and view them as just an object for pleasure instead of a living, breathing human being, it seems to make it easier to do things you shouldn't do. It was my way of remembering their appearance, their physical beauty. I also wanted to keep if I couldn't keep them there with me whole, at least I felt that I could keep their skeletons. And I even went so far as planning on setting up an altar with the 10 different skulls and skeletons.
And what was the purpose of the altar going to be?
As a sort of memorial. A point where I could, I don't know, it's so bizarre and strange, it's hard to describe. A place where I could collect my thoughts and feed my obsession.
Be easier to understand what happened if he came across as the glassy-eyed monster we expect him to be. Instead, he's able to appear normal, which is what once made him so dangerous.
Most serial killers know the difference between right and wrong. They know what they do is wrong, and they simply don't care. Jeffrey Dahmer cared, perhaps, but not enough to stop himself.